Best in the game. If you fall, just get back up and push through all the pain. Golden game, big, best in the game. Yeah. Philip S gon' help you out. Come on and learn today. Run the play, big.
It's Philip Edge.
What is going on, good people? Y'all know exactly who it is. Philip Edge. It is time. It is time. We have been waiting all day long. Listen, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. I have been literally trying to avoid this topic, y'all. I've been trying to avoid the topic. I didn't want to talk about the topic. I was just trying to let the topic die. But y'all, I couldn't let it die, man. Everybody kept on talking about it. So I said, do we need to go on and talk about this and have a conversation today? Y'all know exactly what it is. We've been ready to have this conversation all about this thing right here. We're talking a little bit about Oscars, a little bit about Babypowder, and a little bit about slapping. And y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. The Oscars 2022 version last night. If you have been hiding under a rock somewhere, maybe you don't know what happened, but if you don't, let me just give you the quick run through. Yesterday on live television, Chris Rock is giving the monologue at the Oscars. Now, y'all, this is one of the biggest award shows in the world. He's giving the monologue. He's doing his thing, and Chris Rock begins and he shares just a little jokey joke. I mean, it wasn't anything major in our eyes. It wasn't anything. He just shares a little jokey joke in regards to Jada Pinkett Smith, specifically in regards to the length of her hair, it being short, and I believe he called her G.I. Jane or something to that nature. And in calling her that, the world stopped, y'all. The world literally stopped because Mr. Getting Jiggy with It, Mr. Will Smith, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air himself, born in Philadelphia, born and raised on a playground is where he spent most. That guy right there, he gets up, walks on stage, literally on stage, to Chris Rock. Chris Rock doesn't know what's going on. Chris Rock addresses him by the name of Richard. Richard being Venus and Serena Williams' father, and obviously the award that he was up for at the time, King Richard. And Will Smith, y'all, he reached back around, way back yonder to, I don't know, Rome somewhere, and he cocked the hammer and he smacked as my mother would say, the fire out of Chris Rock. Y'all, he smacked the fire out of him like, yeah. Oh. And y'all, when that happened right there, the whole world stopped. You're looking around, you're seeing the faces. Look, I saw Leonardo DiCaprio, and Leonardo DiCaprio was looking like, what just happened? I was looking at the lady behind Will Smith, because here's the thing. After he smacked Chris Rock, he turned around a la G style and walked his way back to his seat and sat down. And they obviously had an additional words exchange at that point in time, but it was so crazy. Like, we've never seen anything like that. It was so bizarre that people, as Twitter went crazy, as Facebook went crazy, as Instagram went crazy, people are saying, was this staged? Like was this staged? Like what's really going on here? And y'all listen, I'm telling you right now, it was not staged, and it was some I've never seen anything quite like this. So tonight I just wanted to chat it up a little bit, man. I want to talk about this. I want to get your thoughts. I want to get your opinions. So if you know some people and they want to talk about this, please make sure you share with them this link. Invite them in. Let's talk about this. I want to hear your thoughts. Was Will right to smack Chris Rock based on what was said? Was Chris Rock right in releasing the joke? Like what side are you standing on? Are you standing on Team Chris Rock, or you're standing on Team Will Smith? Who are you rolling with here? Because this right here, y'all, I'm telling you right now, I don't know if this is gonna go away anytime soon. I don't know if this is gonna go away anytime soon. And literally everybody is talking about this right now. So look, we're going to talk about this. We're going to chop it up. And before we get off here, I'm going to give you maybe a different spin, maybe a different way of thinking about this, as I'll share with you kind of my 2 cents on the whole situation. And it is my hope that by the time we get out of here, maybe you'll be enlightened a little bit. Maybe you'll see things just a little bit differently. But at the end of the day, we are going to have a good time and have the conversation. So again, do me a quick favor. Go ahead and share this out with whoever you know. Hit the share button. Hit that button. Go ahead and share it on out, and let some people know what's going on here today as we chat it up and go. I see Terry Jones says, what did he say? Looks that was the message that Chris Rock said. He said she would look good in G.I. Jane 2. That was the actual thing that Chris Rock said. That was the joke. She would look good in G.I. Jane 2, and this is a reference to her hair. And as has come up today, we do know that Jada Pinkett Smith does have a health condition in which she does and is losing her hair. She has alopecia. I think I said it correctly. Somebody has to help me out, but I think I said it correctly. And she is losing her hair. So that is why she wears her hair at the length that she wears her hair. So it is a medical condition. It's a medical condition. Don't like Chris Rock, but it definitely wasn't something that should have resulted to that. Latrinka says this. She says she doesn't like Chris Rock, but it definitely wasn't something that should have resulted to that. He's a comedian. And let's talk about this, Latrinka and everybody else watching. We have a comedian hosting an award ceremony, right? The comedian is the MC. Listen, what is the job of a comedian? The job of a comedian, I'm going to try to break this down to the lowest common denominator. The job of a comedian is to make people laugh, right? Is to make people laugh. And many times the job of a comedian is to make people laugh, and it's at the expense of other people, right? And that's just the way it is. So everybody is kind of fair game. And I'm going to say this, and you can agree or you cannot agree. I knew that there were going to be some jokes about Will and Jada Smith. We all knew that there were going to be some jokes about Will and Jada Smith. I know you're like, well, Philip, what do you mean? How do we know that there are going to be jokes about Will and Jada Smith? Well, first of all, Will's up for, an award, right? So his name is buzzing, right? So we know this. But Will and Jada Smith have had a rocky year this year. They've had their business has been public knowledge, right? So because their business has been public knowledge and everybody has kind of known about what's going on in their lives, the question is like, well, y'all know somebody's going to, come on now. How long were we talking about the entanglement? And you all know what I'm talking about. We're talking about the entanglement. And not only are we talking about the entanglement, Will and Jada Smith are bringing that energy because they're talking about the entanglement. They're talking about the entanglement for the whole world to see. They're letting people know what's happening in their private lives. So if it's okay, right? We know that there are going to be things that are talked about. Now, I'm just being honest. I didn't necessarily know he was going to go the G.I. Jane route. I thought it was gonna be more of entanglement issues. I thought maybe some little August Alsina references or something like that. I wasn't necessarily expecting that. Now, here's the reality: that what he said was light in comparison to what I believe could have been said, right? Cause y'all know, man, Will and Jada, they went through it this year, y'all. They went through it. Let me see what Bernice says, y'all. Bernice says, "Hey, Bernice, how you doing today? By the way, welcome, welcome, welcome." Bernice says, "I'm team neither. I believe the joke was distasteful. However, comedians will be comedians. Will first laughed at the reference, but then reacted, which was contradictory. I believe he could have handled it better. He slapped the entire black race in the face with that one. Ooh-wee. And listen, I am not mad. Matter of fact, I need to I need to go on and give you that one and one of those right there, because I truly believe that you on point in what you're saying. I mean, first of all, that was totally unexpected, right? Wasn't expecting that from Will Smith and or anybody. Let me just be honest, and or anybody. And yes, and going back and looking at it, and see, we can always play the little couch quarterback, because we can see things in hindsight, right? So going back and looking at it, there was some laughter and going on. Now, there was something interesting that happened though when I was watching Jada, because Jada initially was laughing as well, and then she made this face and she kind of rolled her eyes, and that for me, I was kind of like, ooh, wow, interesting. Like I could literally feel in watching Jada that there was like a blow to her, that she didn't like what was said. And hear me out, if you're sitting in the front row, it's kind of par for the course, right? You're going to get some of that. That's going to happen, so you got to be able to shake that off. By the way, Will Smith is one of the top 3 to 5 highest paid actors in Hollywood, period, right? So that comes with the territory. The tabloids come with the territory. I mean, you're telling me that you can take all of the entanglement stuff, right? All of the shade and the jokes and the comments about the entanglement, but when it comes to this is the thing that sets it off. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Bernice also said he could have handled it a different way. Agreed. He slapped the entire black race in the face with that one. Let's talk just a little bit about that. Yesterday, first time in Oscars history that an African-American crew, Will Packard and his crew, led and designed and put the entire Oscar experience together, right? So we as a race, right, black people, were celebrating. We were excited, man. Will Packard's doing this. It's gonna be a big deal. Will's up for an award. I mean, it's gonna be a whole different experience. Yes. So you had Venus and Serena. You had the whole William. I mean, like this was amazing, right? And then we had this, which overshadowed it all, and that's just super interesting to me. How this event can overshadow everything, which obviously it should, because this is something that's foreign. It doesn't happen. I was talking to a friend of mine, Judy, a little while ago. Judy was telling me about her daughter who lives in Israel, y'all. She called her mom up last night, and she was like, what in the world is going on? Because something happened, and Will Smith is all over the news. Y'all, literally, this has traveled all the way over to Israel, and she's answering questions about this in Israel. So it was an amazing piece of the event. It was an amazing thing that happened. Nobody expected this to happen. So yeah, thank you, Bernice, for that one. Latrinka came back and she said, right. She says, we are not allowed to act like that, nor should we. Our black men get a bad rap so much. We can't feed into that. I agree, Latrinka. It's very difficult, especially as an African American man. Many times, especially in Hollywood, we're good for certain roles. We're good for certain roles, right? When it comes to shooting them up, bang, bang. When it comes to baby making machines, when it comes to athletes, hey, we're great for their roles. But when it comes to fathers, right? When it comes to upstanding citizens, it's hard for us to get those roles. See, I know for me, and I'm taking this a different way, that's why growing up when I like the early 80s, I'll never forget when the Cosby Show first came out. And you can say whatever you want to say about Bill Cosby is par for the course, but I will say this in regards to the Cosby Show, that was the first time that I ever seen not just middle class, but I'm talking wealthy, well-to-do professional black families, which there are many people, but we were just not represented on television, right? So you're seeing Dr. Huxtable, he's a physician. You're seeing his wife, who's an attorney. Like, we didn't get to see those kinds of things. So when we see that, we celebrate it. It's an amazing thing, and I'm just like, man, when we get up there, we show out, right? We show out. And inside the house, we'll say things like, we always got to go and mess it up. And this is just another example of that. Bernice says, the Smiths boycotted the Oscars. Hold on, let me put it up here so everybody can see it. She said, the Smiths boycotted the Oscars because no blacks were nominated. And then this, yep. And you walk back to your seat with that smirk and fixing your jacket as if you've accomplished some big feat. Yeah, kind of interesting, man. I mean, and you're absolutely right. They did boycott the Oscars on last year because of that. And now we just took the Oscars by storm and took the Oscars hostage, man. I mean, this is real. This is real, and I think that's why so many people are talking about it. That's why even late here in the evening, I'm coming on live, and I just feel like we need to talk about it and kind of talk through this because it's a real life situation, and I think one that's going to impact all of us. Now, let's talk about the other side of this, because all day long I've heard people talking about Will Smith, as they should, right? But I haven't heard as many people or seen as many people talking about Chris Rock. And I want to just take a moment to paint this picture here, right? This is a comedian. Now mind you, please follow me here. This is a comedian who is doing a monologue set, right? That 9 times out of 10 he did not write. Or at least he might not even been the sole writer. There was at least a team of people who came together to write that. They knew exactly what was being said and what was not going to be said. Remember, they practiced this. They had a run through. So somebody put the script together like, yeah, there you go, Chris. That's how you say it. We like that. That's good. Say it that way again, buddy. All right. So they put this together. So mind you, remember, this man is getting slapped for something that he might not have even written. That's a whole different story, right? It's a whole different story. He might not have even written this, and he's getting slapped for it. So secondly, nobody's really talking about how he handled the situation. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm being honest. I'm being transparent, y'all. If I'm doing my job, because that's what Chris Rock is doing. He's doing his job, right? He's doing what he is asked to do in the best way and manner that he knows how to bring to bring some kind of comfort to people, some laughter, to really do the Academy and the Oscars justice, right? So he's doing his job. So imagine you're in your workplace doing your job, and you say what you are, quote unquote, told to say. And somebody who disagrees with what you say, they get up and they come, and as my mother would say, they slap the fire out of you. How would you react in that situation? I'm just being, I don't know if I would have handled it quite the way that Chris Rock handled it. I don't know. I don't know if I would have been able to keep my composure, because it wasn't a little slap, y'all. Hey. And Will is not a little guy, right? So I don't know if I would have been able to handle it quite in the manner that Chris Rock handled. I did see a freeze frame, and in the freeze frame, Chris Rock's hand was like this, right? It was like, and then he got himself back together, and he thought on his toes, because that comeback line where he says, "Wow, Will Smith just slapped the fire out of me." That was classic. That was an amazing comeback, one which I don't necessarily know if I would have been able to keep my composure in that space. Like honestly, could you, like if it were me and Will Smith did that, we would have been two people fighting up on stage. And I'm telling you right now, it was getting ready to be on the popping. And I know some of y'all like, oh, well, that's just not the right thing to do. No, it's not. It's not. I'm telling you right now. But I know me. And when somebody just crossed a line like that, oh man, I don't know. So I commend Chris Rock for literally being able to hold himself together, because that could have been a disaster on international television. Two men, specifically two men of color, going at it. Could y'all have imagined that? Could you have imagined the chaos that would have ensued with two grown men of color on stage, on one of the biggest stage in the world, fighting? Y'all, that would have taken it to a whole different place, right? So I want to talk just a little bit about Chris Rock. Like, would you have been able to keep your composure? Would you have been able to, I mean, literally shake it off? I heard somebody say Chris Rock got a strong chin. That's what Puff Daddy was saying. That Diddy was saying. He said, man, Chris got a strong chin, man. He got a strong chin, because I mean, he got a cold cock, man, right? So would you have been able to really be able to hold yourself together? And not only that, you know, after Will then continues to make sure that he gets the picture when he says, keep my wife's name out of your bleepity bleep mouth. And then he repeats the statement and you see the anger coming out. Like, I felt what he was saying, right? And Chris, his response was, all right, man, I will. You know what I'm saying? Like he could have said a whole lot. You know, like he could have been like, oh, you gonna come up here and slap me, but you ain't saying nothing about August Alsina. You ain't saying nothing about the entanglement. So you gonna come up here and slap me, but you ain't dealing with all these other people. So you gonna slap me. And we are talking about Pookie from New Jack City, right? We're talking about Chris Rock. Y'all, so, like, there was so much that he could have said, but he handled himself and he got his composure back and he went back into the things that he knew that he was supposed to say to introduce the next award or whatever it was that came up behind that. I think Diddy came out after that, right? So he was able to do that, right? Yeah, Latrinka says, thank God he didn't fight him. That would have been, wow, I can't even think of what would have happened if they got to fighting, right? I don't know. I don't know. Jason Emmerman, he says, how are we sure it's not staged with a script written? And there have been a lot of people who have asked that question. And honestly speaking, Jason, we still don't know. We still don't know if it was script, if it was written. Check this out. Let's say it was written. Let's say it was something that was scripted. Do y'all realize Chris Rock's next show is going to be sold out? Do you realize how much they are going to make off of this? Because somebody's going to want to buy the story. They're going to want to buy Will Smith's next interview, the sit down with Will and Jada Smith. They're going to want to talk to like if they did that. That was some old next level stuff right there, right? Now, secondly, and I'm just being honest, Jason, I don't know, but I'm just saying my thoughts, right? I don't know if I would have, on that stage, wanted to embarrass myself, my family, my community. Like, we're not talking about just a random. We're talking about the biggest television event that's happening, right? The biggest movie and television event that's happening. So again, I don't know if it's scripted. To go along with that, did you see the slap in slow motion? That slap in slow motion, that was a real slap. Now, I mean, if we're gonna play, you know what I'm saying? If we're gonna act, we need to have an acting slap. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to have one of those TV slaps to where, you know, he almost hits you. He hits like your nose or something like that. Not the real open hand, you know, baby powder slap that he gave Chris Rock yesterday, because that was real. So again, I don't know if it was scripted. Secondly, if it was scripted, all of the script writers, and there were several of them, they all have said today that was not in the script. Now, if Will and Chris got together and did something, on the side, I don't know. But all I know is the script writers and the people at the Academy and the Oscars are saying, nah, that wasn't supposed to happen. So I don't know. I really don't know. What I do know, though, is the slap is going to have a lasting impact on Will Smith. The slap is going to have a lasting impact on Chris Rock. The slap is going to have a lasting impact on black actors and actresses. The slap is going to have a lasting impact on the black community. It's another, in my opinion, it's another stain that we are working so hard to get removed from the standpoint of how we as a culture show up to events, right? We don't have to show up and show out all the doggone time, right? So I believe, like, knowing who they are, like, we're talking Will Smith, man, and Chris Rock, and knowing what they stand for, especially Will, after his birthday now, he's into this big love thing, this love movement. I just don't see them. I don't see that happening. Now, I will say this, Jason. When Will Smith came on stage, Chris Rock referred to him as Richard. So initially, I thought, in my mind, I was like, oh, that is how Richard would have responded, because King Richard's going to protect his family. That's how King Richard would have responded. And if that's how King Richard would have responded when he came on the stage, well, maybe they were going to do something. But then when the slap came, I was like, oh, this is how we doing it. This ain't fake. This is real. So I don't know. I really don't know. What I do know is that there are ramifications that are going to be huge and they're going to be lasting. And, there are even talks right now about, removing Will Smith's Oscar. I really don't believe they'll do that. This is Will Smith. I don't believe they'll do that. There were talks about Will Smith not being able to come back to the Oscars next year. I still don't think they're going to do that because, again, we are talking about Will Smith. And because Chris Rock, again, took the high road and did not press charges, I don't think we'll see much of it if it's able to die down. But as long as people like, Philip Edge are up here talking about it, maybe it won't die down as quick as we want it to die down. Bernice says, she said that further shows that Chris, didn't think it was as offensive as it was taken. He even said it was a G.I. Jane joke. You're right. Like, honestly, when Chris was reacting to the reaction, he's like, come on. I mean, it was a light joke. It was an easy joke. I mean, it wasn't hard. It wasn't a tough joke. And I believe and this is just me, part of why he may have even said this because he didn't write that joke. Like, honestly, that joke wasn't even really that funny, But again, we don't know the level at which these and the pressure and the stress that people are under. I mean, we think we know Will and Jada and all of our favorite Hollywood stars, but do we really? Do we really know the stress that they're under? Do we really? I don't know. I don't know. Is there more to the story? I mean, could Will? I don't know. But all we know is what we see, and we go from there. Jason said, yeah, they entered more fame with that one. Well, they might have entered a little bit more fame because they are getting talked about. But I will say this: how much more fame did Will Smith need? Will Smith is number one or number two between him and Denzel actors in the entire world, bro. Like how much more fame did he need? He's definitely, one of the top two highest paid grossing actors of all. Like how much more fame does he really need? Right? I personally believe that maybe there's something bigger to this, and I'll talk about my thoughts in just a minute. So y'all stay tuned. Because I'm going to give you my real thoughts. And y'all stay tuned. Let's see what Latrinka said. Jerry, who is Latrinka's husband, by the way, Jerry said he thinks Chris will get back at him in the streets. Yeah. I mean, now, I will say this. What the reports are that they actually were able to talk it out. the reports were that things are squashed, which is part of the reason why charges were not pressed, those kinds of things. So I don't know if he's gonna get back in the streets. Now, Jerry, now if it was anybody else, yeah, yeah, it might be something going on. I saw who was it? Kevin Hart. They had a little Kevin Hart skit, and Kevin Hart was like, "This how you gonna talk about me? This how?" And now he used some different language when he said it, but he was like, "This what you gonna do with me? How you gonna like?" He was really going off. So the person said, "This is what Chris Rock is doing backstage right now," and I don't know, man. I don't know. It's interesting. I think there's a mental issue. Hold on, let's see what he said. I think there is a mental issue. He had to get it out. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of that. I think there are some challenges. I mean, remember what we said. Will and Jada have had a rough year, y'all. They've had an extremely long year, and granted, some of it is from their own doing. I'm not going to dispute that. But what we know is that, y'all, come on now. We know that's not the place to do that. At the end of the day, if Will didn't like what he said, and he had he had an opportunity to go talk to Chris, he could have literally, when they went off air, went backstage and met him backstage and had a conversation backstage. Go ahead, duke it out backstage. If that's what you want to do, go slap him in the green room somewhere in the hallway. Go do it there. Go have the conversation there. But on international television, maybe not quite the right place or venue to do that. Now, I did hear somebody say this, and I'll throw this out there. They asked the question. They said, "Well, is there ever really a right time to do that?" Because obviously we don't condone violence, right? So is there ever really a right time? When is the right time to quote unquote defend your wife, right? When is the right time to actually stand up for your wife in that regard? I know there's some people. I was talking to my friend Judy. I told you all earlier, and Judy's like, "Well, he looked like a caveman." Her statement, and I really didn't think about it like this. She says, "Jada's a strong woman. Does she really need defending?" I don't know. What I do know is my wife is a pretty strong woman also, and I don't think my wife necessarily needs defending. But there is a line in my life. And there are certain things that you are going to do, and there are certain things that you just not gonna do. And one of those things is you're not. Like, I got three. You are not going to talk about my wife, right? And if you have a problem with my wife, you have a problem with me. Point blank. Period. I don't care who you are. I'm just telling the truth. If you got a problem with my wife, you got a problem with me, right? So we can't roll together. Like we can't partner up. We can't buddy because me and my wife are one. So if you were talking to me about my wife, we got issues. Because if you're talking to me about my wife, you're really talking to me about me, and that's the issue. We either need to work that out, but you're not going to talk about my wife. You're not going to talk about my kids. That's off limits. I'm just letting you know. You ain't gonna talk about my kids. All right, they my kids. I'll talk about my kids because they mine, but you're not gonna talk about my kids. Now, if they do something wrong, we'll discipline them together. But you're not going to talk about my kids and disrespect my kids and belittle my kids. You're not going to do that. I spend too much time building them up as a man and as a husband, and you are not going to belittle and tear my children down. You're not going to do that. And there's one other person that you're not going to talk about. That's my mama. And those of you who may have grown up in my era, you know what happens when you talk about somebody's mama, right? This is just real. You're not talking about my mama, right? I love my mama. My mama birthed me. And I have been in several skirmishes over my mama. That's just, and people were being petty. They were being silly. They might have been. But they also they didn't do that again. I'm just gonna say it that way because you don't talk about my mama, right? So for me, as a husband, as a father, and as a son, there's a line that you don't cross. Do I believe Chris Rock crossed that line? I don't know if he crossed that line with say G.I. Jane, but. There's more to the story. Let's see what y'all are saying here. He He said, Bernice said, Chris offered a public apology to the Smiths, still waiting for Wills. I did see that, Bernice, and it was actually a heartfelt apology. I wish I could pull it up for us right now, but he did say, I apologize to the Smiths. And in his apology, he says, I apologize to my friends, Will and Jada Pinkett Smith, right? And I think that was very intentional to speak specifically about who they are, to let the world know that these are his friends, right? And let's just be honest, y'all. I mean, sometimes friends get in little skirmishes. I mean, it happens. It happens. It does. We just don't necessarily get it in skirmishes in front of 3 billion people. However many people were watching that last night, right? So a little different. Let me see. Jerry said he would definitely have called his lawyer $20 million later. Yeah, I mean, and here's the reality, and y'all know, he could still call the lawyer. He could still press charges. Now, I was thinking about this last night. I was like, if Chris Rock presses charges, he gonna look like a old chumpy chump, man. Like it's like, I understand that's a Hollywood thing to do, but is that what he wants to do? Is that what he wants to be known for? I don't know. I just don't know. He just got he said a joke, he got handled, and he pressed charge. I don't know. Secondly, like I said, they're friends, and y'all know friends. We handle things differently. So, but Jerry, I feel you. $20 million. What's $20 million to Chris Rock? Chris Rock, he worth a grip too now. So I don't know. Let's see. Defending every time is the right time. However, it's how you defend that comes into question. I love that, Bernice. I love that. So what Bernice is saying, y'all, we're talking about defending your spouse, your family, your loved one, right? You always got to defend. I'm telling you right now, look, I will check somebody in a minute. You ain't talking about mine, right? But it's all about how you do it, right? I may not come and just smack somebody down because they said something slick with their tongue, but you best believe they will know that that's not a cool thing to say, right? But we can walk on, we can move on, we can do what we need to do. So I love that, Bernice, right? Making sure that we defend always, because here's the thing, whether my wife needs me to defend her or not, me, Philip, I still personally believe it's my role as her husband to not let anybody else belittle, degrade, or hurt her at all. Period. That's me. I mean, I've been married, we going on almost 22 years. It'd be 22 years, a month from today, April 28th, 22 years. And I'm telling you right now, I'm just not going to allow somebody to do that. But to your point, Bernice, there's a right time and a right way to do it, right? There's a right time and a right way to do it. We talked about it at work, and one said Chris publicly embarrassed her, so Will felt he had to publicly get back at him. And I think there is some merit to that and some truth to that, right? There is a public thing happening, right, from an embarrassment standpoint. Speaking of that, Latringa, I'm gonna bring something up, and this is actually coming from y'all not even gonna believe who I'm getting ready to share with y'all, but this is a statement from Nicki Minaj on this. Those of you who do not know who Nicki Minaj is a rapper, female rapper and MC, but she said something, and I felt it in my shanana when she said, y'all check this out. Wow. Wow. Woo! I felt listen, I felt that all through my body. And so when I personally read that statement, I had to go back and watch the whole scene again. And literally it was he, but then she had this look on her face and she kind of rolled her eyes and they kind of panned off, but he kind of hit this little glance and he saw her face, and in seeing her face, his face and his whole countenance changed, and it was just like, what? It was like at that moment, it's like you just hurt my wife. Like, you don't know what she's been struggling with, and there has, everybody's heard about, the alopecia and her struggles with it, and how it's really been a mental struggle for her as of late. She had a red table talk on it, so it's been like really, really hard for her. So we don't know how hard, though. We don't know, but listen, I'm gonna say this: it must have been hard enough on his wife, in which, listen to this now, that he, in his mind, felt that it was the right and rational thing to do to get up on international television and go slap your friend and tell him, keep my wife's name out of your mouth. Like, how much would Jada have had to be going through, like that we don't even know about, for a husband to stand up and defend his wife in that way? So that was powerful. I saw that. Would love to get your takes on what Nicki Minaj is saying. Again, she says, you just got to witness in real time. Hold on, I'll pull it back up for you. That was what he said. That was what he said right there. Wow. Bernice says, wow, that's real. That's real. Yep. Latrinka said that was deep, and it was. And it was, So I, honestly, I just have to believe that there's more behind the scenes going on than we know. Because I just don't think that this is the Will Smith that we have grown accustomed to knowing. This. So there has to be something else going on to push this man over the edge. Even when we go back and we look at his acceptance speech and how choked up he was, and he even at one point said, I'm not crying because of the award. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the reality of the whole situation, I mean, he said this is literally overwhelming. This is literally overwhelming. Bernice, you're right. She says, can I just say she looks stunning regardless, and you're absolutely right, Jada. She looked flawless, and that low hairstyle that she was rocking, she did the doggone thing with that hairstyle. That green dress. Listen, they beat, how y'all say, ladies? Her face was beat. Yeah, the makeup was flawless. She did that thing. Trigger says she is gorgeous. Always thought that. Absolutely beautiful. She's beautiful, right? And again, just from a husband's perspective, and my husbands, I want to hear from y'all. Like, to what extreme? And let me just ask this: to what extreme would you go to protect, stand up for your wife? To what extreme would you go to? I mean, wow. That was pretty extreme right there that we saw and what we witnessed. But would you go to a similar extreme? Would you slap your best friend or slap a good friend if they got out of pocket? I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. WSB talked. WSB, Bernice, what's WSB? Help me out. WSB talked to a therapist, and she said his laughter was a signal to a breaking point. So you're talking about Will Smith's or somebody talked to the therapist. So we're talking about Will Smith and his laughter was the breaking point. I think that's what you're saying, Bernice. But if not, correct me. And I would agree. And you all know this. Many times when people laugh not necessarily because things are funny, right? We don't laugh because things are funny sometimes. We laugh because something's going on. We're uneasy. We're uncomfortable. And that's where the laughter comes from. It's nervous energy. It's not necessarily because things are funny. WSB, the news channel. Got you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious there was a breaking point. So let me just say this. To all of you all, and I'll just give my 2 cents. I'll give my 2 cents. First and foremost, I don't condone violence, right? I don't condone violence. But I also, from a husband's perspective, I can definitely understand protecting, standing up for, and being there to support your wife, right? And not letting anybody, really, make them feel any like less than. So I can totally get that. Personally, do I believe that it was the right venue to address that? The answer is no. Bro, you're up for an Oscar, right? That like 10 minutes later he did win, by the way, right? You're up for an Oscar. Your family's there. At this point in time, it's way bigger. Now, I'm not saying that you forget about it. Like, yeah, if it touched you, if it touched your wife, you address it. But bro, this is bigger than you right now, right? This is Richard Williams' moment. This is Serena and Venus Williams' moment, right? This is Will Packer's moment. This is the Academy's moment. This is people sitting in their living rooms and watching this first ever. This is a huge event, and it's bigger than you. So because it's bigger than you, maybe this isn't quite the right time to address it. I'm not saying don't address it. I'm just saying maybe this time was not the right time to address it. Now, the other side that I do want to address is this. Y'all, you got to have a good circle around you. You got to have a circle of people around you who, when you're right, they'll tell you you're right. And when you're wrong, they'll tell you you're wrong, right? When you do something good, they're going to applaud for you. When you do something that's not necessarily in your character, they're going to support you and you're going to be able to lean on them. Y'all, yesterday, after the fiasco happened, right, the slap heard around the world, I watched Denzel Washington and Tyler Perry pull Will Smith off to the side, and they were having a conversation with him. And you all, and you please hear me when I say this. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but watching their body language, it was one of the most empowering pieces of all that I saw yesterday, because these are two giants in the entertainment world, right? Encouraging this brother who has had one of his most probably the moment that he would want to remember. He had a Kanye moment yesterday, right? So this is the moment that he probably will want to forget. But they literally were encouraging him. They were patting him on the back. They were hugging him. They were lifting up his chin. And literally at one point in time, I saw it, because y'all know Tyler kind of big. I saw Tyler standing there, and I saw Denzel looking at Will, and he was basically speaking to Will and encouraging him, and you could see Will kind of shaking it off and getting himself and his composure back together. I could hear Denzel in my head being like, you done messed up, don't you? Right? I could literally hear Denzel saying this, but he said, but Will, we're gonna get through this, right? And I personally believe one of the biggest statements that, and let me see if I can pull it up. One of the biggest statements of the night, right? Let me see if I can pull it up. Happened last night. And that was like that blew my mind. That blew my mind what Denzel said, because Denzel was speaking. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. He said, he said this. He said, at your highest moment, be careful, because that's when the devil comes for you. And y'all, that right there, that rocked my world. Because that's what friends do. Friends support you when you're going through. Friends give you something to lean on. Friends, like man, they could have just totally been like, man, get him out of here. Call the police. Get him out of here. They could have done all that. They could have not squashed it. They could have literally like pushed this on and egged this on. But no. They came in there. They encouraged him. They sat down with him. They literally, when you go back and you watch it, they went and they sat back down with him at their table. With that, one was with Will and one was with Jada. Right? The publicist was in the middle, and they were encouraging them. Because I'm telling you right now, if it wasn't for those people encouraging him, right? I don't even know if I, Philip, am going to be able to get up and deliver the speech, the victory speech that he was able to deliver to the world. Because just 10 minutes from having the lowest moment of your professional career, you have one of the highest moments of your professional career. And if you don't have a team, if you don't have friends, if you don't got those strong pillars who are around you to support you in the good and the bad and the ugly, man, listen, I'm telling you, see, this is why people fall so much, man, because they don't have those accountability people. They don't have those people who are going to stand with them in the good, bad, ugly, and indifferent, right? Listen, you can't just have anybody around you. You got to have the right people around you. It can't just be anybody. You got to have people who can literally bear what you got going on, right? You know, I can't have, like, you know, I love my children, right? But they can't bear this weight that I got going on. Because they can't understand what I have going on. The weight that I have going on a day-to-day basis will crush them. And they don't even know it because that's all the stuff that I have going on. It'll crush them. So I got to get some rocks. I got to get some people who have strength, who when I'm weak, man, they can hold me together. And yesterday, y'all, I think of all of what I saw yesterday, the most impactful thing was the community of support that came and surrounded Will in his lowest moment. Listen, when people have moments of need, y'all, somebody got to hear me. When people have moments of need, it's not the time to leave them. It's not the time to cut the rope, right? When people have moments of need, this is when they really need you. This is when they need to lean on you. This is when they need you to tell them the truth, right? I'm certain Denzel and Tyler Perry, I'm certain that they were like, bro, you messed up. But the sun gonna come up tomorrow. Bro, you messed up. But guess what? We all gonna live and we gonna get back to this thing, all right? So all I'm saying is this, and this is my 2 cents. He messed up. It was the wrong way to handle it. I commend him for sticking up for his wife. But it was the wrong way to do it, and it is what it is, right? He did it, right? He did it, and you can't take it back. But the lesson that I learned yesterday was to have you a circle, man. Have you a good circle that's going to be able to hold you up, hold you accountable, but hold you up in your lowest moments and applaud you on your greatest moments. Because when Will got up and he accepted that award, man, they were applauding him during his greatest moment, when just a few minutes ago they had to hold him up. So I just want to challenge you, right, wherever you are, whatever you got going on right now. Look at your circle. Analyze your circle. See if you got some Denzels around you who can look at you and really be like, listen, at your highest moment, be careful. And that's kind of my Denzel impersonation, right? Be careful, because that's when the devil comes for you. And we all know, that the enemy is busy, man. The devil is busy. The devil's seeking. He's going around like a raging lion. He's trying to take you out. Yesterday, that could have been his takeout moment. Like, that could have went real left. But you gotta have a circle. That circle that's gonna hold you together and hold you up. And listen, if you don't have a circle, you gotta find one. If you don't have a listen, if you don't have a circle, hit me up in the DM. I might not be everybody's circle, but doggone, I know some other circle people, man. Hit me up. Let me know. Because here at the end of the day, my goal, I just want to see you win. You know, I remember Jesus said, he said, it's not his will that anybody should perish. We don't want to see nobody go down the drain. We don't want to see you lose it. We all have our moments. We all do. I got my moments, right? I got my moments. I'm telling you, if they talk about my wife, I'm going to have a moment. I'm just letting y'all know. I'm pray for your boy. Pray for your boy, right? But at the end of the day, we got to have that circle who's going to build us back up. Because like I said, that was the lowest moment and the greatest moment, all within 30 minutes, y'all. So that's my 2 cents, man. Let me look at some of these other comments here before we get out of here. Tim says, yes, most definitely, anywhere, anytime, no disrespect tolerated about my wife. That's right, Tim Bishop. Tim said he gonna hold it down. So, listen, if you ain't know, you better know. You better not mess with Tim's wife, y'all. You better not mess with Tim's wife. Bernice, she was talking. She said, you better come on. And well, Bernice, we coming on, man. We coming on. Thank you so much, man. You better come on. And she said, I need a circle. Well, listen, Bernice, my prayer for you, man, is that your circle show up. My prayer is that your circle. And listen, here's the amazing thing. And I'm gonna say this to you, Bernice. Your circle's already there, right? Now we gotta ask yourself what's going on, and can we allow the circle to come in, right? Can we allow the circle to come in? Can we allow the circle to be the circle, right? I have people in my circle that I don't talk to every day. I don't talk to them every day, right? But I know when I'm going through, I know who's going to be there for me and who's not going to be there for me, right? And that's just being real. So when I say a circle, I'm not necessarily talking about people who are going to be there every single day, going to be rocking with you, going out with you to the movies and all. No. I'm talking about people who are going to be your ride or dies. People who, when you going through, you can pick up that phone and dial, right? I'm talking people who are going to come. They're going to meet you where you're at and be like, look, I see you going through. I got a shoulder. You can lean on that. I can hold you up. So I'm with you, Bernice. Hit your boy up in the DM. Let's talk. So that's my 2 cents, y'all. This was an amazing night. I did not expect to be on here this length of time, but we're on here and it is good. So we're gonna be coming on here and just jumping on here a lot, y'all. We're gonna be jumping on here a lot because we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to break down, and we got a lot to just continue going to help us to be better. So again, if you don't get no circle, better get a circle, man. That's all I got for you today. Just got Philip Edge, man. Talk to y'all soon now. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Big, best in the game. If you fall, just get back up and push through all the pain. Go